Welcome back to the Chicago Tomahawk. I'm Mike, and I got my line mate Matt with me. And Happy New Year, everybody. Sorry we didn't release a podcast last week. We're both kind of under the weather a bit, and so we're coming at you this week. Going to try and make up for it with some Blackhawks news. Bedard was named to the 2024 All-Star team. Bedard is also out now, 4 to 6 weeks from that crazy Devils game. We're recording this on a Saturday, so it was yesterday for us. We're going to talk about that and getting some NHL news. Matt, man, what was going on with this Devils game yesterday? You know, like halfway into the first period, I'm like, you would think these guys were division rivals playing for a playoff spot, and it was, the second to the last game of the season yesterday.
Yeah.
I mean, it was entertaining to watch, but I was really surprised that the Devils would engage in this type of a game with a team like the Blackhawks, who are at the bottom of the standings.
Yeah, it's like our buddy Dave Hansen gave these guys a pep talk before the game, and they had the foil on underneath. But
yeah, no kidding.
Oh man, as a fan, that's exactly the type of hockey I wanted to watch. It was mean and nasty, but it's just weird. It was, between the Hawks and the Devils. Out of all the teams, it's like, hey, okay, maybe St. Louis and the Hawks, or,
sure,
even New Jersey and the Rangers, the rivalry back in their day and now. But yeah, I thought it was a very weird game, and I thought that hit on Bedard. Obviously you don't want to see your stud go down, and he's ended up. I think he's got a broken jaw. Hopefully he's back sooner. With probably gonna have the bird cage on, just to protect the face and the jaw and stuff. But I didn't understand it from the Devils' point of view, though. I didn't think a team trying to compete for a playoff spot when it's a very tight race in their division would, play down like that. That's not their game. And I credit the Hawks, man. They didn't, they weren't getting pushed around, and their guy went down. Nick Foligno came, a couple minutes later to his aid and said, hey, you ain't going to touch him. And he fought the guy, and I thought it was a very good fight. And I think he ended up breaking his pinky or something, or finger.
Yeah.
So he's out too.
Yeah.
But, I mean, there was a lot of running around, and, Jack Hughes ended up getting hurt. And, hey, that's called karma. If you're going to F around, you're going to find out. And he did. So, as a Hawks fan, I loved it. I thought the Hawks' effort last night was great. That's the way they should play. Don't let anyone push you around because they're, supposedly better. But, these guys, the Devils aren't even in a playoff spot right now. I think they're competing. So the effort for the Hawks, I loved it. I think if they play for each other like that, it's got to be good for the locker room. These guys are going to bond. And I mean, the injury list, I don't know if you've seen it, but
I did.
The injury reserve team looks like they could take the current team now. That's how bad it is. So
yeah. It seems like the injured reserve team is playing, and they've got a injured reserve team too that they're looking to bring up. On the Blacks IR team right now, we have Taylor Hall, Connor Bedard, Andres Athanasiou, Anthony Bolivier, Tyler Johnson, Taylor Radish, Nick Foligno, Anderson, and Savoy. This is and Seth Jones is still he's starting to skate a little bit, and they're expecting him coming in sometime soon. But it's practically, I think they said that the Blackhawks, that their salary cap right now is at like $35 million, and they've got $37 million on the IR right now from guys that are hurt. So
that's a lot of cash.
It's crazy, man. It's absolutely crazy. What's going on. And Jason Dickinson was joking around, we're like laughing at how bad can it get,
Yeah, it's
with
bad.
with the injuries. He's having a great season. I think he's at 13 goals so far this year. I've seen a lot of leadership out of Jason Dickinson, and I wasn't really expecting that. He seems to be somebody, a guy that has stepped into like but a leadership spot with the team, and he's probably one of those guys that I'm noticing that is stepping up. to take over maybe a leadership role, for the squad. So I like him. He's playing a great game right now. But Bedard, he's got a fractured jaw. Richardson said that in his playing days, he took a slap shot to the jaw and it was broken in half, and he had to have that completely wired. I think he had like 5 or 10 pins in it.
Well, I was going to ask you, how's the puck doing after it hit that guy's jaw?
Oh my gosh.
Jeez, man. That dude could cut a puck in half with that jaw.
Man. He can.
This makes me think about Roenick. Remember that Darian Hatcher hit?
Oh, yeah.
But here's the thing. Roenick was so pissed off and amped after that. He's like, no, we got a 5-on-3. I'm staying on the fucking ice right now, and I'm burying Dallas right now. That's the mentality. It's so different, and nothing against Bedard. I'm sure it's got to hurt like hell. But, like, back then, man, Roenick was back the next shift with blood just oozing out of his mouth. It's just, it's insane, the toughness. It
is. I think that they're probably trying to be on the safe side, saying like, oh, hey, like this is this kid's rookie season. He's, believe it or not, I think he's exceeding expectations. It's like, I think they want to protect him a little bit. He is a big investment for them.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, they're like, it's not a playoff game. We're not even close to being a playoff team. There's no point to, risk further injury, or you don't want him out longer than he has to be. So they're going to take probably the full 3-4 weeks. I hope that he could come back for the All-Star game. I'm not sure when it is. I think it's mid-February, but it changes a lot. I'd love to see him compete in those skills competitions and stuff. Kid's got an absolute missile of a shot, and the accuracy, I'm sure he would be awesome. And I'd love to see that. So that, for me, I hope he's healed up by the All-Star break.
They said that he's still going to take part in the festivities, but, we'll see if they allow him. I mean, they don't hit each other in the game, but even if they are doing the skills competition, I think they should maybe let him do that.
Yeah, I mean, if there's there's really not much contact, even in the 3-on-3 mode, the way that they do it. I'm not a fan of how they play it. I wish they'd go back to, old school East versus West full game. That was the best. But they do it by divisions, and the winner of the divisions moves on and stuff. So I don't think it's that physical anymore anyway, but still they'll probably have to get cleared by the doctor, and I'm sure Bedard will be like, no, I'm good. I want to be there. It's a big stage,
Yeah.
Toronto this year, and it's probably going to be crazy, it's crazy. It's a circus there now. I can't imagine it for the All-Stars.
Right. This started, I would probably say a couple weeks ago, these Elias Petterson rumors, and they're only getting stronger, man. So a couple weeks ago, it was said that Elias Petterson is someone that the Blackhawks are looking to, or that wants to play with the Blackhawks because he wants to play with Connor Bedard. And it seems like this rumor is just, it's just taken on a mind of its own. And they're also saying that William Nylander is also someone that wants to play with Connor Bedard. Now, isn't Nylander a shoot first type of guy, Matt?
I think he's more of a pass guy. I think he'll get more assists, but he did put 40 in last year.
Right.
So, I think it's, the Hawks have all this cap space coming up. I think it's, hey, let's surround Bedard with some talent. Right. And I think they could do it if they wanted to. I don't know if that would put, change up some plans with the younger kids, but I think, I don't know when you consider Dale Talon's rebuild to, I guess you could say 08, 09 when Taves first started. They had pretty good vets. I think they had Havlat. He was kind of like their guy, and then they surrounded him with, more younger talent. Yeah, you had like Bolin start to come up. I think Brouwer came up. Keith and Siebes were kind of like, hey, you guys are 1 and 2. Let's fill in some, other role guys like Jarmelson stuff. And then next year we signed Campbell. That was a big splash.
Yeah, it was.
And I think that really helped. So if this Pettersson rumor is true, I would be absolutely hyped and pumped for it, because if you look at his numbers, this guy is a pass first dude. And that is what I think Connor needs. And this kid's a center. So you could move Connor on the wing and take those face-offs, pressure off him,
He's been winning them, though.
He's been doing good, but you want guy like Petterson who's more responsible up there, I think, and he's, obviously he's been playing longer. This is the perfect guy, I think, that perfect type of player you'd want with a guy like Bedard, because this guy, I think he's got 30-something assists already, which is really impressive. That's what he needs. This guy's going to give him space. He could put it right on the tape for him, and Connor needs to shoot more. It's a fact. His shot's so elite. This guy is going to be the next, 50-goal guy for the Blackhawks. So you surround him with talent like Petterson, and if you even get Nylander, which I don't know how I feel about Nylander. I think he's got the last name of, it's got the laziness kind of stink to it. Like, hey, what are you doing? Go get the puck in the corner. Take the hit. Don't be a pussy. Yeah, and his brother was like that. I don't remember his dad like that. His dad.
He doesn't
played
like going to the corners. He doesn't like going to the corners.
It's like the younger Nylanders thing. A lot of the kids don't like doing that.
I don't think that's what we're looking for, man.
I would. It's cool to bring a big name guy in. Like, hey, okay, we're that team now again. We're that team. Like, hey, we're the destination. Like, no, I want to go play in Chicago. I want to play with Bedard. I want to win with this kid. This kid's special. Bring that mentality back, which we used to be. I mean, we got Campbell, Hossa. We signed Huey. Remember, Cristobal Huey was a big deal for us too.
We got rid of him the next season too.
We got rid of him. We got Niemi. We were getting all these college kids too winning the Hobie Baker, and they'd be free agents. The Hawks would sign them. They'd get them. Then we got Panarin. You're signing big fish, and it's good for the organization, but you got to manage it better. I think that Hawks were a little reckless with that. I think that was Dale Talon's only flaw. He was too good of the players. He wanted to take care of these guys, but then once it came to up against the cap and you got to move guys around, it sucks. You got to lose talent then, and that's what happened.
The Blackhawks are going to have $49 million or possibly more in cap space for the 2024-25 season. How do we move forward, man, as the squad? Because if they are looking to rebuild this thing like they have been from the ground up, there's a couple seasons, man, where they're not going to be that good. But we're going to be getting some youth that's going to be developing and coming in. And that's the proper way to do it, because those are the guys that stay the longest, develop the best, and you start a culture that way. Do you think that maybe one free agent splash just to set the tone, hey, we're taking a step forward, and then the next season get another big forward? I mean, a big, free agent splash?
I think you look, at your young talent, like your Bedards, your Reichels, and you got your Nazars, Frank Nazar coming up. You got Oliver Moore, you Nolan Allen. You got to think, Korchinski, obviously, Vlasic. These guys are going to get paid if you're asking them to be, the guys. So I think Davidson's got to kind of look to the future, okay, Connor's probably going to be making $10 million a year. It's probably going to happen. So you got to figure that. You got to manage it right. That's why it's huge to win in a rookie contract, the entry contract. You win once with that. It's huge because these guys aren't making nothing.
Yes.
So
absolutely.
I think to answer your question, if there is a free agent out there and you can make the splash and he's interested, I think you got to pull the trigger. If it's Petterson, yes, I'm doing it. If it's a Connor McDavid, I'm throwing the bank at him. Yes.
Yep.
And,
$14 million.
I would do it. I would do it to keep that guy around. He's going to bring in more income for the city. He's going to score. He's going to put up his points. He's going to be in that conversation of MVP every single year. That's just the player he is. But I would definitely do it. And you got to keep Connor happy. This kid's not. He doesn't want to lose every year. It's going to get old. I mean, Jack Hughes.
He's not used to losing.
They surrounded him with good talent. They brought in some players for him. And, look what happened. He scored 40 last year.
That was a process, though.
Yeah, it was about 3 years it took, yeah. But I think if you got the top guy out there, free agent, is Elias Petterson, and, hey, it's not working out in Vancouver, you work your freaking balls off to get him here. Absolutely. You have Connor on the phone. Hey, I need you. I need a center. I need a guy to get me the puck, and I want you to be that guy. Anything you can, get him.
Do you think that with Connor being injured right now, that this is the microscope is going to be under Lucas Reichel? Like, hey, like we're going to be looking to see what this kid's doing.
Yeah, I think maybe a little bit on the DN too. Maybe Korchinski's going to get some, more looks. Like, hey, okay, Connor's out. Step up, kid. Show us what you got. We kept you on this team at the beginning of the year because we saw something. Let's go. Take it away. The spotlight's on you. I think maybe Korchinski, Reichel. Poor kid. It's hard to produce when you don't have talent with you,
Yeah.
Like, I think that's why I get so mad. It's like, Richardson, give Reichel the opportunity to put up numbers and put him with Bedard. I don't care about Philip Kurashev. Yes, he's playing good, but he's not going to be here when the team's going to be something. I'm sorry. It's just a fact. Yeah. Put him with Reichel because he has an opportunity to be here in the future. Let's see this kid play with the guy he's going to be playing next to. It's the only thing I don't like about Richardson. These line combinations, like, what are you doing? How is he going to succeed on the fourth line with fourth line minutes? You can't get a good look off of him that way.
He needs to be playing as much as possible.
And Vlasic and Korchinski, put him on the first pair. I don't care if Connor Murphy is good in the locker room. Good in the locker room isn't a stat. You better be good in the locker room if you're in the NHL. So give, like, Keith and Siebes, 06, I went to almost every single home game. And those guys played together almost the whole time. They made mistakes together. They made good plays together. And they grew together. They developed chemistry. And look what happened. They won 3 Stanley Cups together, playing over 25 minutes a game in the playoffs. Sometimes more. So let it happen. You got to. This is the time to do it.
We know hockey games move fast, but with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL, you can score faster than anything happening on the ice. This week, new customers can bet $5 and get $200 instantly in bonus bets. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app with code ShyTomahawk. New customers bet just $5 on the NHL and get $200 instantly in bonus bets only on DraftKings Sportsbook with code ShyTomahawk. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 plus age varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. See dkng.com/hockey for eligibility and deposit restrictions, terms, and responsible gaming resources. NHL and the NHL Shield are registered trademarks of the National Hockey League. I've been using DraftKings and I've been hitting some pretty good bets on there, man. They've got good odds for money lines, which is typically what I've been doing. But you can also put bets on players for points. And I'll tell you what, with Jack Hughes playing, he was good for at least a point a game for the Devils. And Nathan McKinnon has been good for about a point a game as well. And with McDavid starting to cooking again, you can count on him as well. So keep an eye out on that, on these guys and their point production. So, Matt, back to the action. The Winter Classic is rumored to return to Chicago. That's the kind of star power that Connor Bedard has. Are we really looking for the Winter Classic to return to Chicago before they're competitive? It's not going to be entertaining. They said that the most recent Winter Classic between Vegas and Seattle, dude, there was no advertisements about it.
Nope.
There was no marketing on it at all. I completely forgot about the game until that day. Like, I just happened to turn it on. I was like, oh wow, Vegas and Seattle. Vegas, the reigning Stanley Cup champs, is playing Seattle, an upcoming team. The last two teams to join the NHL are playing each other in the Winter Classic. I mean, that's cool. I'm glad that they got two new teams, but it completely tanked.
It was a yawn fest. Better off watching reruns of freaking Home Improvement than those two.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I watched it for a while, and then I think Star Wars was on TV and I had to check that out.
Honestly,
too.
I can't name like 3 players on the Kraken. I know Matty Beniers and they had a different goalie in it. Grubauer wasn't even in that.
Oh, okay.
That Dan Core, his name was, or something. He got a shutout. Good for you, kid. But I'm sorry. That's why I remember I sent you the message when I heard about this, and I'm like, oh, so the bad Blackhawks are needed again because the NHL didn't make any money. F Chicago. Those guys suck. I hate Chicago. But wait a minute. Connor Bedard's a rookie, and he's a future superstar. Oh, maybe we better call these guys and put them in the Winter Classic because people actually watch hockey there. So, yeah, that's the NHL. Just they crack me up sometimes.
Team USA wins gold at the World Juniors. Man, we had 4 Blackhawks on that squad. Notably, Oliver Moore I think he was kind of a forward on the outside looking in for a lot of it.
Yeah, I actually listened to the championship game, and the game actually the day before they were playing Finland, and they were down for a while, and the U.S. found a way to come back. And it brought me back to our podcast we did about the USA, like just kind of taking over, man. I mean, these young kids coming up, they're so good, and the current NHL USA guys. I mean, I'm predicting gold for that too. This development in the U.S. has been so good, and who's ever in charge of it, keep it up because it's nice because we're going to be taking the crown from Canada.
There was a little bit of drama because the Team USA captain kind of did a little bit of a dance when he was going up to get his medal. Some people were making a stink out of it. And you know what, man? It's like, we need to let these guys show off their personality. Not everything is a white shirt and black tie event. They need to let these guys show some personality.
They're kids.
so they can start selling this game so it can grow more. You look at these salaries at some of these at the other leagues like the NBA and the NFL, MLB, and they're off the charts. And that's mostly because they allow these guys to kind of show their personality, and these leagues market the game better than the NHL does. Matt, what do you think it is, man, after all this time, that it's the same thing? I don't want to say that this is a Bettman fault, but I want to say that maybe, do you think like it's a hockey culture thing where, that they're just okay kind of being like the 4th biggest major league in the United States? Or like what can be done so that this huge, beautiful game that we love can get better in the United States, especially since they have such a long season?
You take the freaking wussy soccer mom mentality and just the feelings shares out of the game because they're the most annoying ones. Oh, my feelings are hurt because he did that. The kid just won a gold medal. Who cares? You got nothing better to do, and it probably wasn't even the other team doing it. It was probably some guy in the media that's never played hockey and would rather be in politics. That's just a fact. Hockey could be so much better if let the guys be themselves. Like, you put Jeremy Roenick in his prime, like on social media, Jeremy Roenick would be like a freaking comedian. And those are the types of guys all these fans like. They like his shows and stuff he does. Everyone wants to hear what Roenick thought, Like that was the 90s guys. They have the best personalities, and social media wasn't big, but can you imagine hearing those guys like, going out and stuff, Roenick, Brett Hall, Chelios on a night, that stuff would be awesome. And that's why their podcasts are so good, because people want to hear about it. They don't want to hear about who this guy voted for, stupid questions. That's what they need to get rid of, that junk.
I think a lot of people look to get away from a lot of that, Yeah. At least I do.
It's when the younger crowd, man. They're obsessed with where you align yourself with, and it's so ridiculous, and no one cares. And they, for me, are ruining the personalities from not coming out because they're afraid. Like these people, oh, he said this, we can't support him. Like that. Shut up. Who cares? Like that's the worst part about. Like the I don't even know what you call it, but I like saying the soccer mom mentality and the kumbayas of the world, the rainbows and unicorns. Let's all love each other. Sure, we could respect each other, but it's a game. These guys are out there competing for the same prize. It's gonna get nasty. I mean, that's what's fun about it. So that's for me. That's what you got to do to make the game better. Don't play the woke junk, because that's what I hate. And like I said, going back to Roenick, that's a guy, a personality you need. Just a guy who tells it like it is, funny, good with kids, he jokes around, he has fun, and give people time, get an autograph. When a kid's sitting on the bench, give him a spray shower, stand or skate real fast, and spray all the snow in his face. Joke around. Those are the best guys to be around. Not these guys that are like, oh, he wouldn't wear the ribbon type of mentality like Seinfeld.
Sure.
That's the worst. But yeah, the NHL is going to sit in fourth place behind these other guys because, I mean, they're just so, their image, they want everything to be so like just boring. And that's what it is. The NHL, the product is very boring. And the personality, there's some good ones, but you got to let them be themselves.
Right. And because it's boring, and I think a lot of games are entertaining, but I think that how they get there is maybe in like the delivery is kind of boring, that maybe it doesn't give people like an opportunity to watch. Charles Barkley has said a few times, man, he's like, man, you guys got to check out hockey. Yep. These guys are out, especially during the playoffs. He's like, man, this is incredible. I think he was comparing it to the NBA, and he's like, man, this is a complete snooze fest. But I just turned on a hockey game.
His era was so different. Like they were physical. They were. And I watched basketball when I was in that era, and it was awesome. Like I preferred it over hockey, and I'm a hockey player. So, I mean, if you look at last night's game, for example. If you advertise the hell out of that, like there's some bad blood here. Connor Bedard breaks his jaw. Jack Hughes goes down. Like, yeah. Like, let's listen to what they have to say after. Like Foligno, let's hear what he really has to say. I could tell you right now, hey, that fucking guy touched my guy, and I'm not going to let him get away with it. If he said that on, do you know the outrage? But
dude,
that's what really said.
They need to have an NHL, like something that you can subscribe to, where you hear like the unfiltered, like what's going on the ice. What are the guys saying? Unedited. Them cussing each other out and stuff, dude. That would sell like crazy. As a matter of fact, I think all of the other major sporting leagues would follow suit too, to have some kind of a package. How they used to have center ice?
Oh yeah.
ESPN Plus now. You subscribe to this, this service that they charge you, and you get the unfiltered sports. That'd be so awesome, man.
Well, that's the best part. If you watch like little clips on YouTube, like hockey shit talking. Those views are unbelievable. Like they're over like 50 million, and that's what people like to see. I mean, yeah, you don't want like crazy degrading bad stuff. Like you want it. The game is. I mean, you don't want like threats like I'm going to kill you after the game type of thing. But I mean, you want to say, hey, you going to touch my guy? I'm coming after your guy next shift. Like I remember watching a clip with I believe it was Cam Jansen when he was on the Devils, and Sean Avery took a run at Brodeur, And Cam Jansen is leaning over, yelling at Hendrik Lundqvist. I'm fucking coming for you. Get ready. I'm coming. You're going to do that? I'm coming. Like, that's exactly what the hockey guys, that's hockey, man.
You tune in every day for that.
Oh my God. That's the best part. It's the game inside the game. And that's what makes hockey great. And a lot of people don't see it because it's all like, oh, he called him a jerk. Oh man, we should suspend him for 3 games. We're not tolerating that behavior. Oh, yeah. Shut up with that for your suits and your corporate boards. It's not hockey, you know? I mean, get back to the old school way of things and hockey will do good again. But if they keep doing this, it's boring. I'm sorry, the product's boring. There's barely any hitting. They're trying to eliminate fighting without actually saying we're eliminating fighting because they don't want to lose, you know, like the old dinosaurs that are still hanging on. But once the playoffs start, that old school way kind of comes back, and that's what kind of draws me back in.
Do you think that, you know, like at the end of the game, Jack Hughes going down, you know, that's bad for the Devils?
Yeah.
You know, it's really bad for them. It's bad for the league too, because this kid is really starting to kind of carve out his place in the league as being one of the new faces of it, to be honest with you. And it's bad for the NHL. Do you think that maybe some of these smaller type of guys need to maybe, I don't want to say toughen up, but, you know, keep their like their heads up while playing when things start getting dicey like they did yesterday?
Yeah, absolutely. You got to keep your head up. You're not untouchable just because you're Jack Hughes. And I blame his coach a little bit for his injury. There's no reason to play against the Blackhawks that way on a January night when you're competing for a playoff spot. Like, it's a tight race. That division's stacked. And you're going to play like, you know, the de-measuring game. Like, we're better, we're tougher than you. The Hawks are in 31st place, dude. They're a rebuilding team. They're probably going to get a top 1, 2, 3 pick. And you're gonna run around and, you know, hit guys, and if they hit you back, you're gonna start getting upset about it. No, dude, I 100% blame Lindy Ruff on that. Like, dude, protect your player. Like, Tenorti and Foligno, they know who Jack Hughes is. The whole lineup knows Hughes is your guy. Like, they just watched their brother Bedard go down and break his jaw. They're not too freaking happy about it. I know Nick Foligno was not happy at all. That's why he dropped the gloves with that guy. But that could have been avoided, I thought, if like you took the time out, even the intermission, say, hey guys, we're 100 times better than this team. What are we doing here? Like, let's beat these guys with our skill and our special teams, because they're going to take penalties because they can't keep up with us. But no, I mean, like, New Jersey was taking crazy penalties. Like, I think the box at one time, wasn't it like full with both teams? I mean, it was a very entertaining game, but like,
I think they had like 4 guys.
It just didn't make sense for the Devils to play that way. You know, they're playing for something, and now they don't even know how long Hughes is going to be out. But you know, they're going to learn the hard way, because I still think if they could barely beat the Hawks, it's going to be a hard time in the playoffs with a very depleted Hawks team. Like,
this is twice.
It's like
season,
a Rockford Ice Hogs, maybe Indy Fuel like team, you know. So yeah, I don't know, man. It sucks because Hughes is an entertaining player, but yeah, you're not untouchable, and either is Connor Bedard. I mean, he's got to be ready. You know, someone's going to hit him, and me and you've talked about this. Like, hey, if you're going to skate in between 3 guys, it's probably not a good idea. I mean, these guys are NHL defensemen. They're not going to let you do that. You know,
right?
So you gotta play a little bit smarter. I hope he gets better soon, because he's the only reason why I'm, you know, enjoying watching the Hawks. He's phenomenal talent. I hope he comes back, and I hope
he's going to be out.
I hope he still gets the Rookie of the Year. I still hope I think he could do it, but it's going to be even harder for him now.
Yeah, really unfortunate. You know, Matthews is the first player to hit 30 goals this year so far. Man, we're about halfway through the season, dude. We already have a 30 goal scorer. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, we got I think he's 30, and the top 5 guys are like 26, I want to say, and 24s. It's good to see, man. You think he can hit 60?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he can hit 60. I think Kucherov is at 28. I think he'll probably get 40. I could see, but I probably get another 30 assists if that. The guy's phenomenal this year. He's really running away with that.
He might hit 50, dude.
He's running away with that award.
I think he's what's he at right now?
Kucherov's at 28 goals and 39 assists for 67 points, and he's a -3. All those points, and he's a minus. So tells you Tampa's having a hard time keeping the puck out of their net.
Matt, is there anybody standing out so far, like during this season? Anybody that has, points or just with their play? Is there anybody that stands out for you so far?
I don't think we give this guy enough love. Sidney Crosby, he's, on the back nine of his career. He's got 22 goals. He's got 19 assists, 41 points, and he's a +14. The guy's still putting up great numbers. The guy's still a stud.
He'll probably hit 40.
Just a stud, man. And, I don't think Pittsburgh's going anywhere, but he's still, got the team on his back. He's still that guy, the captain, and it's cool to see, man, because he's kind of close to our age. He's, I think he started in 05 or 06 was his first year, and he's just been lights out since.
How do you feel about Marc-Andre Fleury tying Patrick Waugh for second all-time in wins?
Yeah, I heard this on the radio the other day. Yeah, man, it's weird to say. I just don't think he's at that level of Brodeur and Waugh,
No,
I just like when back then you thought of those guys. Those were the only guys hoisting the cups, it felt like. Waugh or Brodeur. And, he's a great goalie, great for the game, awesome personality. I think he definitely a top 10 goalie, but, he's been on, I think he's been on two cup-winning Penguins teams, right? Or was it, I think it was 2. And I think he lost the net to Matt Murray.
He did.
Then he, it was cool for him.
No. It might have been 3.
Was it 3? Yeah, I mean.
Yeah. He lost it to Matt Murray for 2 of them.
You're right. Then he went to the Golden Knights, and he took the team to the final. That's cool. I know they didn't win, and he ended up coming here for a year, and he was awesome to watch, very entertaining. But kind of jumping around a bit. He went to Minnesota, and it's just a weird spot for him for me.
Yeah,
it just doesn't I don't know. It seems like it never really worked out. But, I think he's a top 10 goalie. I don't think he's like the top like those guys. Brodeur and Waugh, maybe you throw in, Ken Dryden up there. Just those guys were really special. Those top 3.
They were. I just think that, Brodeur and Waugh, they were such a... I'm not saying that
I think they're the best.
Fleury wasn't... I don't think that he compares to them in talent. I think that they were just... Well, actually, I think that Waugh is actually better than Brodeur.
Same. I think Patrick Waugh is probably the best goalie to ever play. And I wore 33 one year because I loved Patrick Waugh. When he got traded to the Avalanche, I really started watching how good he was. And I'm not going to lie, I didn't really remember him from Montreal. But as I got older, I learned what happened. They boot him literally to a new team. That's how bad it was that night against Detroit.
Yeah.
I think they put in 10 goals on him, and it's kind of a spit in the face to the coach keeps him in there for that. It's kind of like, come on, this is the guy that's got you 2 Stanley Cups. He's the best goalie in the league right now, and they leave him in there just to get shell-shocked. And Waugh took it personal. He was pissed.
He did.
He walked over to the GM at the time that they sat behind the bench and said, "Hey, I'm done. I'm not going to ever play here again." And that was his last game. And we know the rest of the history. He won 2 Stanley Cups with Colorado, and he was a huge part of it. And I
thought he said it to the. Did he say it to the GM or the owner?
Might have been both of them. But I believe it was the GM, and he walked right by that coach. Like it was like hey, he kind of like, hey, here's my shoulder. Boom, I'm walking by you, and you're gonna. And it hasn't been the same for that organization since. That team hasn't done much. They made one final since, and it was Carey Price just having a great it was a COVID
Have
season.
a good run,
but
it's the usual. Carey Price.
It was just poor Carey Price,
Canadians,
and that's been probably mid '90s. That's a long time.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, I agree with you. I think Wow was probably the GOAT, and I give Brodeur number 2. And for me, Eddie Belfour, my guy, I got to keep him top 5 too, just because he's the reason why.
Top 3.
He was a competitor. Dominic Hasek, another one.
Yeah,
it's weird to throw Fleury with those guys. I
don't see him in that league. With those guys, like those guys could stand on their head and they could change a game.
Yeah,
and to Fleury's credit, he has stood in his head a few times, but he played on some really, really good teams.
Really good Pittsburgh teams, yes.
Whereas Wah, Montreal was pretty good, but he was the deciding factor in that.
He was phenomenal. And even Brodeur for the Devils. That's one of the most boring teams you can watch. But that guy would start 75 games and win 40 of them.
Right.
And that's how good he was. And, those guys changed it. They changed the goaltending, footprint forever. Those guys were workhorses, and then you got Dominic Hasek doing his thing and just throwing his body anywhere to stop the puck. It was freaking cool to watch. The human slinky, it was awesome. And then, Belfour, watching what he was undrafted. The Hawks signed him as a free agent, and he knocked guys out. He knocked really good goalies out of here because he was so good. He won his net, and he blamed his immaturity for not winning here, and he goes to Dallas, and he telling them, hey, Dominic Hasek's the best in the world, and that's all the motivation he needed, and he ended up beating him and with a better goals against average. So I consider those guys the top.
He showed everybody why he was his backup.
Oh, for sure. and I like to throw Mike Richter in there too, because I like the American guy that, we got the Rangers, that cup that they've been dying for. They were, Mark Messier had a lot to do with that, and so did Mike Richter. He was really good. So those are the 90s, man. I can name so many goalies that I just think that they were better than Fleury, like skill wise.
Sure.
Felix Potvin, those guys, and
Cujo,
another one, and Chris Osgood, I think very underrated. He never got the love in Detroit, which was crazy to me.
I don't understand
Mike
why.
Vernon,
I don't. Yeah, I mean he Osgood stood on his head, man, and he to his right, man, he helped them win. Yeah, they had some god tier teams, but
yeah.
I mean, he fought. Didn't he fight Wah?
He fought Wah one year, and then Mike Vernon fought him the previous year.
Vernon fought him the first year, and then Osgood stepped right up to him. The next year,
Probably
man. I tipped my hat to the guy.
5'10" at the time to Wah's 6'3". Guy skated right up to him fearless. I'm like, geez, if I'm going against this guy's got a reach advantage already. I'm probably going to get suckered in the face a couple times, but dude went right after him. So the goalies were just different, man. I mean, I'm forgetting a bunch, like Ron Hextall. Grant Fuhrer. Those guys in the goalies in the 90s were amazing. Oli the goalie, Kolzig. It's unbelievable.
Olaf Kolzig, he had the Godzilla on the side of his mask.
Oli the goalie, man. He had a good run that year. I think they ran into the Red Wings, I want to say. Red Wings won the cup. They swept them, but I mean, that Peter Bondra was on the Capitals that year with who's that guy? Ziggy Palffy. I think he was on that team.
He was.
They had a pretty decent team that year, but that, like the Red Wings, they were the Yankees at the time. They spent the money, and they had freaking 3 starting goalies. They had 2 Norris trophies on the back end. The Russians doing their thing.
They had a center who was a offensive dynamo, but good enough to play defense as well.
Yeah, Sergei Fedorov. Yeah, put him on the back end, and dude would compete for a Norris. That's how good he was. So
man, he was incredible, man.
Built different. I just can't see Fleury fitting in with those dudes. That elite 90s goaltending club. And you lost to Matt Murray. And where's that dude right now? He's gone. He's not even playing minor league, I don't think.
He's not in the AHL?
I don't even think he's playing. It's just, it's crazy. Like, I'm not knocking the guy because Fleury was such a character here, and I think he was good for the team that year. Gave a lot of fans some hope, you know, having a good goalie, very likable dude. But it's just, yeah, when you name those guys, like, is he better than them? Maybe at some things, but I don't think he could do what they did at that time.
Right. All right, everybody. That's all that we got for you this week. Do us a favor. Hit us up on Twitter if there's anything that you want us to talk about. If there are any other goalies that maybe we missed that were your favorite growing up. And let us know. This is the Tomahawk, and we're out here.